Here we are at Country Lake in San Jacinto. This is something that's been going on for a few weeks now. We had a lady in this white Sentra pull her car out of the driveway, put it on the streets. Literally 4 minutes later, a tow truck came, hooked up to her, and is demanding money for her to let down the car. She moved the car out on the street in order to take her trash cans and put the trash cans out on the street. The park came up with a new rule that you could only get 15 minutes to park in the street, and you must have your flashers on. So Castellano's towing company hooked her up because she was only out there for 5 minutes, but they hooked her up because she has no flashers on. Now we got all this commotion. The police, sheriff just showed up, and this has been going on. I was told the tow truck company told an Uber Eats driver almost the first few days that the park put in a new enforcement policy. So this is what happens when you move to a country lake, and they make it so it's not happy, or you're not happy to live here. Bad management. It's Boa Vida is the corporation up out of Sacramento. Not sure if they know what's going on, but this is how they treat the people. This park's probably 95% seniors, and this is how they live out their golden years. Just sad that we're dealing with this.
Here to pick up a car that she moved her car out of her driveway to take her trash cans out. He hooked her up. He's out hunting for cars to pick up, and he won't leave people alone. Yeah, this is the guy. This is the tow company, and this is the car that he hooked up. He is harassing people in the park. It's that simple. It is harassment. And he won't unhook her car. And she's staying in the car. I'm at space 241. How long was the car moved to get the trash cans out?
3 minutes.
3 minutes?
On ring camera.
Okay. Well, this is what we live in Country Lake. And we need to get this, we need to get these videos on their website.
Jacob! Okay, so you say that you can't show it to me. I'm upset. Oh well. Oh well, I'm fucking bipolar. Oh well. No, I'm serious too. I'm recording. It's fucking saying that I was parked there when I wasn't. Prove it. The fucking car is on.
It's on the street.
The car's on.
The street.
It's on. The vehicle's on. That's not parked, idiot.
There's no hazards.
Doesn't matter. The fucking vehicle's on.
I don't know that.
The vehicle's slow. You shouldn't when you touch my car. You shouldn't be touching people's cars when the vehicles are on. He's touching it when the car. My car was on.
Listen to me. I know, it's right. You were here for 2 minutes. No fucking bullshit.
And then it's
this
fucking...
is total bullshit. This is total bullshit. Pay him the fucking money.
No.
You don't do it.
All right. Can you tell me your issues that you're having here at Country Lake?
So my issues with the park and their predatory towing, here's what they did. They unleashed a Castellanos towing company on the senior citizen residents of this park, and they're putting a lot of people, they're burdening a lot of people financially because people don't have $400, $500, $600 to pay for towing just for parking their car out maybe 5 or 10 minutes out on the street. So they come up with a new rule, and a week later, then they said, that, like I said, they unleashed this towing company. So I was over helping, checking on an 85-year-old man who is a really good friend of mine. It was really hot. It was about a month ago, 3 weeks, a month ago. It was like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It was about 108 degrees. I wanted to check on him, see how he was doing. Parked over there. Next thing you know, neighbors are knocking at the door. Hey, they got my car, my truck strapped. hey, what do you mean? What's going on? So they say, they got these new rules, blah blah blah. Well, they're not even adhering to their own rules, basically. They see a car, they're strapped. There's supposed to be a 15-minute rule, and then they added some flashing light, emergency light thing to caveat to their existing rule that most of the people don't even know about. Okay, fine. I don't park and I don't do illegal stuff in this park. But as a younger man, I go and help older people, and I don't expect for my efforts to be put out $130 and have somebody who is basically a predator, in my opinion. And the park set this company out here to do this, and they probably towed, I'm gonna say at least 50 cars, 50 people, senior citizens, people that don't even deserve it, Eddie. So, other than that, and the water going off, Sue mentioned she's been there a lot of times, but I'm saying in a year is 25 times, 25 days, 30 days a year with no water. And I'm talking 110 degrees outside and you can't even shower. You come home from doing whatever you gotta do, you work, and you don't even have any water to shower. You can't even clean your butt. So, and the park is, it seems like they pick something. It's not even anything beneficial to the residents. They could take all the effort that they could, I don't know, man. It's so frustrating. It's understandably frustrating, because I walk my dog 2-3 times a day out in this park, and I just don't see an issue with cars in the street. I just don't. Maybe there's an offender or two, but what they've done, and they've set these predatory towing company onto the residents of Country Lake. For what reason? I just don't get it. I don't get it. It's got to be money. That they can't be. I don't think Art and Sherry and Marie are bad people. I think they must be getting paid or something. I don't know, but it's not right. You're making older folks that are on fixed incomes and can barely pay their rent, barely get by. Now you got somebody who's taunting older folks. The tow truck drivers are driving around going like this, money, give us, we're making money, and flipping people off and threatening people. I got threatened by one of them young dudes. I got threatened. They wanted to beat me up, so that's fine. Maybe I said something to him, but he threatened to beat me up. He's half my age. So I'm a senior citizen. If you wanted to fight me, go ahead. Do what you got to do, You take my car and then you want to beat me up. So that's Castellano's towing company too. And it's not nobody else that I know of. It's they're pretty like I said, they're predatory.
Now I notice you use the word predatory a lot. Can you define that as far as, are they coming in? Are they being called for each car, or are they just riding through, just looking for cars?
They come in at all hours of the day and night. It's almost a fixed time. I can look out my window 3:30 and see them go by. So they're coming by patrolling. They're coming by looking for a car, and all you got to do is stop, go in the house, check on an elderly person, and just be a little bit lackadaisical for 5 minutes. They're not timing. There's supposed to be a 15-minute timing period. You're supposed to have the emergency flashers on. Well, I didn't know that because they just changed that rule from memo to memo. And I got an older memo and I got the newer memo, and I didn't read that part. But 5 minutes, people are getting towed. People are getting their cars strapped, and then the hullabaloo ensues with them tow truck guys. And so they're riding around. They flip people off. They, like I say, they taunt older people, and it's just not a good look for any kind of senior park to do this to people. It just really isn't.
And how many vehicles do you probably would guess that's get towed in a day's time?
In one day?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I personally know about 8 people. There was a guy last night, he was moving. He had a moving company, he had their car right out in front of his house with stuff from his house on the car, and they strapped it.
Wow.
They strapped it. He goes down to the office this morning and gets into it with Art, like, hey, what are you doing? I can't move, you're not allowing me. And Art is the manager. Let me say, I can't specifically say that it was Art. I don't know, but it was the office, somebody in the office. So let me backtrack on that. Carol just told me, so I don't know specifically who, but got into it. Next thing you know, they called the cops on him. Because if they were anything like how they treated me, it was all F you. It was basically F you, you ain't got no say, we don't care about you, get lost. You know, we don't care about anything that you gotta say. You didn't have this, blah, 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 get out.
And not that it matters, but it was a paid moving company, not a rental U-Haul that he did himself, right, or not?
No, it was, he paid a company. It was a company, from my understanding. Yeah, from my understanding, it was a paid moving company. He's moving. And with his dad, I guess. Yeah, he's moving, but it doesn't matter where, he's moving.
So basically, you got to park your vehicle in your carport only. You can't pull out of your carport
No.
and move your trash cans out. You get towed just that quick.
You're supposed to be able to. You've got 15 minutes. But these guys aren't coming around checking and timing and well, I'm gonna come back in 15 minutes. They see the car, they're strapping it. That's what's wrong. Because I know that no, they didn't, when they strapped, they did that to my truck. And there's no way that they went by and timed it. Because 17 minutes at the most. I might have been past the 15, but the thing is, they didn't count.
No, we've had some people that their vehicles were out there for 3 minutes and got towed.
And I know somebody that happened to, right? Yeah.
Several
These guys over
people.
here.
Yeah, I have an incident. And this happened yesterday.
Yeah.
All right, let me come over and talk to you. Tell me your story.
So yesterday I got home from back to school night. My mother was in the hospital, so I came by to help them clean up the house and take out the trash cans. And my aunt was leaving to work. She leaves at 6 in the afternoon. So she pulled out her car so I can park my car. And we ended up taking the trash cans out. We went inside the house to get one of the trash bags to take it out. In that instant, they came, they took the car and they were like driving around, like they just started taking off. Our neighbors started saying, hey, your car. We were outside. It was 3 minutes. I have the ring video. The driver of the towing company, Castellanos towing truck, said that it was out there for more than 15 minutes.
And we got proof that it was only 3 minutes.
The video states 3 minutes.
Not to interrupt you, but did he change his story once he knew you had proof for 5 minutes? And then didn't it change to you didn't have your flashers on? Is that what I remember?
Yes. Then he said that the flashers were not on. And then I did say, like, come on, like, there's a disability plaque on the windshield. He said, I don't care. I take a lot of disability people's cars away. I don't care.
They just
So yeah,
want the
they
money.
are young fellas. They are looking for money. They're money hungry. But
they ask for cash. And I call the manager, and the manager say, well, you make a mistake, you don't put the flashlights, so you have to pay for that. So I say, wait a minute, not supposed you here for help people to keep them happy, the people over here in the community. She say, no, you make a mistake, you have to pay the price. She
and not
say
only that, the Castellanos towing company, the guy that was driving the driver, he went from $130 after then he was like $350 cash, and then he switched it up to $500 cash.
Well, so they're making their prices up as they go.
To drop the car.
And is that because the police were called out? So it was like
we were sitting in the car until police arrived because we thought it was a harassment.
Right.
We were 3 minutes outside. It states on the ring video. So.
All right. What about your issues, ma'am?
My gosh, really tough. Well, my name's Jill. This is my sister
Hi,
Kristen.
we were together, yeah.
My incident happened on July 27th at 1:27 p.m.
The Castellanos.
Castellanos, Jacob was the driver. And with that particular incident, I'm a registered caregiver here under doctor's prescription. I load and unload a lot. I go in and out a lot. I make a lot of errands. I do a lot of things around here, especially when our water's shut off. I even volunteer and I go get other people's waters because there is no other water available here. They do not give us options to hydrate ourselves until recently. I did see, they said that they would open our clubhouse with the air conditioning. However, the bathrooms were not open. So again, you can't go potty, you can't use water, but you can use air conditioning in the clubhouse. That's the best they can do when they do the water turnoffs. And water turnoffs, I've been here the last 4 years, are frequent and more this year, and then they do the water turnoffs without notices. So that is a whole another can of worms.
And why do they do the water turnoffs? Is there water issues out here or water leaks?
Yes, there
or?
always has been, and the biggest complaint's always been with our lake. Our lake is dry and not full and as beautiful as it used to be. We understand there's drought seasons. However, the distribution system in this water park is, been established since the early 70s. Maybe before, maybe a little after. Might be wrong with that timeline, but it is an older distribution system underneath and has never undergone any type of major replacements, repairs, let alone maintenance. Who knows if there's even a maintenance log in the office for that type of facilities management. So then again, it goes into the management of the park. So fast forward to our predatory towing situation. Again,
let me jump in there just real quick. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
So I want to address the predatory issue here, and what I want to do is just kind of present facts. So when this all started, Country Lakes, in all fairness, did blast out a letter to all of us here at Country Lakes. The way they go about that is they type a really quick letter and they post it in the fronts of our homes. A lot of times we're not home, we might be gone for a couple days, we don't get to open the actual updated piece of information. So we had known that there was some buzz, something going on with the parking issues here. There is constant notices. We get inundated frequently here as Country Lake residents for frequent water shutoffs, electrical issues, and now whatever the issues may be. Right now it's towing. So it's hard to keep up and keep track of all these little issues that are happening to us, weekly, bi-weekly. So with the parking incident, what I had noticed is these tow trucks started to become present within our community. They're aggressive at the rate of speed that they travel is aggressive. They're aggressive. They're big, large tow trucks in our little tiny mobile home streets here. What I had personally noticed is I want to address favoritism. What I had noticed with Castellano specifically is he had let particular vendors within my neighborhood off the hook, should we say, where I personally witnessed Castellano go, speak with vendors, exchange in conversation, and allow the vendors to relocate vehicles without incident or without being towed. Or charged. So I had witnessed that on two separate occasions on my street. One day my sister and I went to go in and get our other resident to go to a dental appointment. Ran into the house. Our neighbor came and knocked on the door indicating we're being towed.
Now, how long was you parked there?
Yeah, so this was back on the 27th.
I'm going to say less than 2 minutes, literally.
2 minutes?
Less than that, out of the vehicle, into the house to get the person, the knock on the door.
Less than 5 minutes total. Yeah, and then they were knocking on our door that they were taking our car,
Right,
and I
so-
was like, no way.
Yeah, so then here's what happens next. So then it escalates from there.
Yeah.
So in our particular case, we as a resident were aware of the parking, these drivers coming through the community. We thought we were within our boundaries. We thought that we had
I was in
15
my
minutes
right.
to load and unload. So we thought we were parked parallel with the road, we were parked close, tires cramped, whatever.
Yeah.
We thought we were within our boundary. When we came out, the tow truck driver had indicated, because I had told him, but we hadn't even been here for 5 minutes.
Right.
I thought we had 15 minutes to load and unload. That's when the technicality came out. I didn't have my hazard lights turned on.
But in addition to that, my vehicle was turned on.
Oh, the vehicle's still on. So
My
the vehicle's still
was
turned on. Yeah.
Temporarily parked out in front of the residents, and yeah, we were in there for less than
on.
5.
So
And so because the caveat that
we didn't have the
this
hazard
rule
lights
update,
on. Hang on. So we didn't have the hazard lights turned on, that the 15-minute window goes out the door. You don't have 15 minutes if your hazards are not turned on. So because of that, he locked up our car. My car was locked up, but then it escalates. It gets better. So now that the car's locked up, my sister here, we're begging this man to please don't tow our vehicle, and we're pleading to him. And while we're pleading, it's escalating. And now he's saying that we're spitting on him and that he's going to call the police because we're spitting on him. So now he's wrongfully accusing us. And I'm like, we're not spitting on you, sir. We're upset because you're towing our vehicle. When you talk to somebody, of course, saliva is going to fly.
Right.
We're not spitting on you. So then now the sheriff, so now he's wrongfully accusing us. The car's locked up. We call Country Lakes thinking they're going to assist us. The manager comes out and basically says no because the hazard lights
They
were not
didn't
on.
care that
So
the
now,
vehicle was on.
I begged Castellano.
Yeah.
I said, please, we are in a deficit. We live paycheck to paycheck. I cannot afford your $130 drop fee. I said, that puts me in a deficit. Now I'm choosing between food or to drop my vehicle. I said, please, sir, I feel like you can make the decision in this moment. And I said, please, Country Lakes, we've lived here for years without incident, never a problem. Please tell your vendor to please drop our vehicle. I cannot afford this. She said, no, I can't do that.
But he can do it for vendors, though.
Yeah, and that's when I came back with that. I said, but I personally witnessed you young man, I personally witnessed you on 2 separate occasions allow vendors to relocate and go.
Right.
But why won't you err on my side and allow me that same courtesy that I had personally seen you do just a day or 2 prior?
Yeah, and it was almost like the office and the tow truck
Oh, but then it
team
gets
were
better.
on each other's side.
So then I could see that he's not gonna,
Yeah.
I have to pay. So we go inside, we
They
get the
were
money.
discriminating.
We have this vendor demands cash on delivery. You have to pay this man cash. He doesn't accept credit, debit, you can't Venmo, you can't Zelly, you can't do anything, cash only. I had 2 $100 bills. He's trying to charge me $130. I give him the 2 $100 bills and he puts his hands up and says, I can't take your money. I don't have change. I said, well, what do I do? My car's up here on your truck. I can't go get change.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the sheriff and I said, Sheriff, I'm giving the vendor my cash and he's refusing my cash, but he has my property. What do I do? Please help me. What do I do?
And then the office
So Country
scrambled.
Lake says, I will help
Country
you.
Lake comes to the rescue.
And she says, I will break your $100 bill for you so you could pay the tow truck driver. So Country Lakes takes my
She came to help.
$100 and she brings me back $70.
Yes, she didn't come to help
She
the
didn't come-
resident.
she didn't give me $100.
She came
She
to
gave
help
me
the
70.
tow truck driver.
And tells the tow
do
truck
change.
driver, we will settle.
We'll see you at the
We'll see you back
office.
in the office and we'll settle.
Wow.
Yes, Chair.
And I have it on film that my vehicle was on and the tow truck driver Jacob was clearly aware it was on.
The
But
problem-
again, they wouldn't just give us like a warning, a courtesy warning, and said
yeah.
it was a hard, give me your money.
I felt like he
lady.
had a weird power and
Yes.
he could have dropped the
Yes.
vehicle. Country Lakes could have helped
The
him
poor
drop.
cop just
But because they didn't
stayed
like our
neutral.
conduct, it was a no for us, but it was a yes for these other people.
And so it just feels like clear discrimination.
Yeah, discrimination and
predatory
favoritism
towing.
and clear predatory.
They are admitting to driving around our neighborhood
And
and,
then just
looking for.
really quick, you guys, on the predatory issue, yesterday I personally witnessed the vendor.
Yes.
We had a resident who had hired a got junk truck, which is a smaller box type vehicle. The got junk truck was parked half in the driveway and half in the road. The tow truck driver was driving the small tow truck and there was one man in the vehicle. He went and he tried to lock up the vehicle. He couldn't do it. The tow truck vendor then left, circled around, was gone for about 5 or 6 minutes, came back with another man. Now there was 2 men in the tow truck.
A team.
Because the team could quickly attach the vehicle. But again, we went out and we got between, my sister got
We
between
seen
the
that
driver
guy.
and the vehicle.
But here's
and
one
didn't
more
let him
further
tow it
point.
off.
To just take it a step further, we
was
don't
stressful.
understand, what I need help understanding is why the Country Lakes management team can't individually address their issues,
The
especially
problematic
with
ones.
parking, with the individuals that they have problems with. What prompted them to contract with a predatory company like Castellanos Towing and have tow truck drivers like Jacob act like law enforcement and coach elderly people much older than
They scare
them,
'em.
how to follow rules? I don't believe there's ever been a situation where there's been a vehicle impeding an emergency vehicle or had a problem with parking or temporarily parking on the side. So this is just an unprompted, forceful situation on the residents
Out of the
here,
blue.
in my opinion. So thank you.
And what about Jim? Let's talk to you. What is your issues? and
Well, I
what's
haven't
your
been here as
experience?
long as some of these people. My wife and I moved here 6 months ago because we were told this park was the gym or the elite park in the valley. I've got many friends in real estate and they said, beautiful park, you'll love it there. We drove around, we found the house we liked, and we saw there's some issues in the park with residents not keeping things up, but it was nice and it was near the mountains, which is what I love. So I went in, and when you first come in as a possible tenant, they are the nicest people, okay? I'm gonna badmouth them, but I'm not gonna say they're doing what corporate says, they're doing what our regional manager says, or they're doing what they wanna do. My issue is a few of them. You drive around this park, we have 90-year-old seniors here that walk their dogs and just walk. Right outside the step is 15 caps to bricks that are loose. I've told the park once before, everything it's on my list. Everything's on my list. You have potholes out here, and you've got seniors. Now, let me tell you, I've had a stroke 4 months ago. I have issues walking sometimes, so I can easily trip out here, the same as a 90-year-old resident. I have a safety issue as first and foremost. Potholes, different things, you got grass moving out into the streets. So that's my first concern. Now, when it comes to towing, this is sort of funny. I'm at Abby's Cafe, and 2 feet from me is this towing truck company with 5 of their drivers. And I did meet them in the office when they were talking to Art, and when I was in the office, I mentioned to them, know what the rules are for RV parking. I have an RV trailer. Know the rules before you come towing my vehicle. And it was a laugh, it was a joke. And then when I saw him a week later at lunch, I also said, did you find out the rules for RV parking? Yeah, you can't do it. Says, I'm gonna tell you, don't effing tow my truck and trailer because I have the right to be here. I don't even know if it was a week ago, Robert, a week ago? About 2 weeks ago. Oh, Monday, 2 weeks ago. So yeah, a week and a half ago, I sold my trailer due to the stroke. I can't physically handle it no more. I unloaded stuff. I'm bringing my stuff into the house. I have to take 2 to 3 naps a day due to the health issues. Went in, took a nap, and man, an hour later, people are pounding on the door. I didn't know what was going on, so I woke up, went outside, and 3 of my neighbors are on this guy's face, the same guy that told you, who's the owner of the company, young kid. And I said, what the F you doing? I told you you can't tow my truck. And he sort of not laughed at me, but he laughs at, oh, this is yours. I go, yes, and I've told you 7 times, know the rules. You can't park here. I said, bullshit. He gets Jessica on the phone, who's now, I guess, the new property manager. She was just a new person. She gets on the phone, you can't park there. I says, no, I can park there, and you better know your own rules. Well, Art says you can't park there, and I said, F Art, I don't care what Art says. I told the tow truck guy, you hook up to me and we got problems. He brings me the piece of paper that the park gave them, that gave every one of us. Sentence number 1 under RV parking, you are allowed to park in the street for loading and unloading purposes. And I was unloading my trailer because the next morning at 7 o'clock, I took it to Sage to the person who bought it. 7 times I told him to find out the rules, and I almost got towed. I'm gonna give you my opinion. This is my opinion. Nobody else may agree with it, but only my opinion counts. You have a lot of seniors that are paying low rent. My belief, my gut feeling is they harass the people, they get them to move. I have no problem with younger people, but here's the catch for a mobile home park, to my understanding. You bring in more than 20% of younger folks, they can remove the senior 55 plus title, they can do away with rent control, and they could probably get another $200, $300, $400, or $500 a month rent. That may not be the case, Eddie, but that's what I believe. It's a dictatorship. I sent an email to the owner, Eli Weiner, out of Sacramento, a very nice, polite thing, stating if this is coming from you, then that's your prerogative. It's not right. It's not right to treat seniors who have given their debt to society for 60, 70, 80, 90 years and treat people like this. It is mismanaged here. People don't care. And I'm not as old as some of these people. I still have a fight in me. Some of these others still have a fight in them. We'll do what we can to fight. We do not want to live under these circumstances. And unfortunately, some of us can't move. I've already bought a home and I put $30,000 on it. I'm going to put another $20,000. I can't move. So I'm stuck here, and it's a shame I have to deal with this situation. It's not right. I probably will never hear from Eli Weiner, who, by the way, is the 8th largest RV park and mobile home park in the country, and is the largest, or not the largest, the fastest growing RV park and mobile home park in the country. Well, those are some nice awards or nice compliments to him, but yet this is how he wants his management to treat. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt that he doesn't know how it's being run. But then again, in the corporate world, that's how things happen. There's other issues we have. I haven't been here long enough to go over them, so we'll let the other people talk. But the towing thing last night was just wrong. You're gonna tow somebody because of flashers. Now, let me say one more thing. We have rules to follow. I believe we have to follow the rules. I have no problem, but you're gonna tow a vehicle for less than 5 minutes without flashers. That's unethical, that's inhumane, that's harassment, and it's not right. So that's all I have to say.
Amen, brother. Yes, sir.
Yes, hi, I've lived here about a year and a half, and I've seen a lot of changes just since I've lived here. And one thing is the predatory towing, because it seems like they hunt for cars to pick up. I have 2 people that came to my house last week, wasn't out there for 5 minutes, flashers on, and they hooked her up.
And she still got towed with flashers.
No,
on.
they didn't, she paid $140 for them to unhook her.
But her flashers was on.
Flashers were on, well, yeah, but she wasn't there 5 minutes.
So the flashers really don't matter then, right?
They're
No.
supposed to provide evidence of their timestamp, and so that's why you see the tow truck drivers driving around with their video. But they are supposed to have a 15-minute window timestamp. So like the 3-minute ring, the 5-minute with flashers, they're not being honest and integral about their business or consistent.
Eddie, here's the bottom line. In order for us to recoup what they charge, you have to file small claims, then you have to go to small claims, then you have to go wait 2, 3, 4 hours. Is it worth our $135? No, and the tow truck company knows that.
Actually, if you can prove that they are prowling and that they are patrolling and that they're doing it illegally, you can get 3 times the amount of the fee back.
And I read the park can also be liable for these fines, I read.
I had him go by my house last night at almost 9 o'clock. I didn't get the name of the truck, but it was almost 9 o'clock at night. It was an empty flatbed making all kinds of racket, waking people up, I'm sure, because I was half asleep in my chair when I heard. And first thing I do is look outside, make sure any of my neighbors are, because I'll go out there and stand in front of a truck, you know that.
You're right.
Thank God for you, but yeah, between that and no water, it's kind of a bummer. I've only been here 3 months, and we were promised that the jacuzzi be working pretty soon. I hear it's been out 2 years.
Since April.
I've got a bad back, and it would sure be nice to use something I'm paying rent on.
Right.
And then I hear, well, we're not paying rent on that. That's an amenity, but we're not paying for it.
So with your opinion, all the ads that they put out, trying to get new residents out here, talking about how Country Lake Mobile Home Park is a heaven place to live. Is it heaven or is it hell?
There's a lot of nice people here. I really like a lot of the people. Remind me of my old neighbors. There's some places that look like they're being rented. Nobody taking pride in them. I'm sure there's a lot of old folks that can't get out there and do, yard work and stuff.
So the neighbors are heaven, but the way you guys are treated as residents is the hell.
Pretty much, and I went to go check my mail the other day over by the horseshoe pits where my mailboxes are, and the whole box was wide open. And I just kind of looked around, and I called the office, and it took about 2 or 3 hours before I got a response. And I said, did somebody break into the mailbox? They said, that's not our problem. They said, we're not in charge of the mailboxes. Well, it's on our property here that we're paying for. And they did get back to me the next morning. The mailman had just happened to come into the office to drop off the mail and said that there was a substitute mail person and didn't know how to lock the box. So he took all the mail with him, and they brought it back the next day. But it did kind of scare the crap out of me. I'm waiting on a pendant with my nephew's ashes. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, they're stolen, At least give us a heads up, on things. Let us know what's going on, The nice little notes clipped up your post are nice, but, other than that, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody.
Anybody else got anything to say? I do. Come on over here, talk to me.
All right. Well, first of all, I'd like to say we love Country Lake living here. Okay? We love the people we've met, and I will try to do this very well without crying because my heart hurts for the issues that we've had to deal with in the last year and a half. So I will say, representing the people that we have spoken to, that my husband and I get, stop crying, Tim, messages every night from, that this is sad. And the woman that was over there that we helped you with your tow truck driver last night, I am thankful that we were there, that I had the $130 in my house to go and give to her to get her our sister auntie's car, Martha's car, off of that tow truck because it was ridiculous the way that she was treated. There was 5 women being harassed and yelled at and badgered, 5 women with 2 men. I don't know what their mama taught those 2 men, but obviously their mama didn't teach them a whole lot, and that's all I got to say about that. But in regards to Country Lake, there is a lot of rules that don't get followed. There is a lot of rules that get bent. So for example, for us, we moved in, we asked for a 5-foot fence. No, but so-and-so down the street has a 5-foot fence. We get angry about that. Nope, this is all we could do, okay? That's it. So over the last 5 months, my husband and I have taken on the activities here at the park. We have been banished and backslapped and yelled at and discriminated against by people in regards to our activities, told us we can't do that, it's unsafe. You're never been allowed to do that. You can't do this unless you have a liability. You can't do this because you're not offering it freely to all the people here in the park. And that is just baloney. We have never said, you can't come if you don't have $5. You can't come if you don't have this, and that. That is not our intentions. But constantly, I have messages out to management now, haven't replied back to them in over a week. I know they're extremely busy, and I give them credit up there. She's taken on the new job as manager, but everybody here in this room can testify we have not been notified that she is the new manager. And that is frustrating on who is our superiors and who do we go to for that. In just rules in regards to the towing, we got harassed. We had people in front of our house for weeks doing work, and they were harassed. They drove by 4, 5, 6 times saying, you need to move your car. Management told me personally that I had to move my car out of my driveway to the guest parking to get a special little pass so that they could park in my driveway.
Wow.
That makes a lot of sense for me to move my car to guest parking. Our neighbor had to have someone park down in guest parking when she was having some type of, I'll just say termite work done in her house. Bench, they had to pipe in and hoses and that to her house. That's ridiculous. Why can't we? But then I drive down the street the other day and I have pictures to show that gardeners now have cones in front of their house and they're okay to park in front of the houses. We have some other people from Verizon, they're able to park, but an Uber driver got towed, a home hospice nurse got towed. That's ridiculous. And they don't know about the rules. They just drive in. Their person's on hospice, for Christ's sake. We gotta have a little bit of grace, a little bit of grace. And last night I know they called management and the management said, tow the car. Okay, so I have a picture of the tow truck sitting up front in front of management. Sitting up front, and I saw them personally on 3 occasions sitting there in the street, nobody in the car, no flashers, and they were sitting there waiting. Now I'm going to assume they were possibly waiting, maybe for a little cuantos. I don't know what it was, but a little something. So I took it a step further and I contacted this tow truck company myself and said, I'm opening up a business in the city of Hemet. Can you help me? I hear you're a good company and can help clear my parking lot. They had the owner call back and said, no problem, we can help you. I said, what do I need to do, dude? What do I need? He's like, you just sign a contract with us and I have the opportunity with that contract to come in and pick up any car that's in violation at any time of day. So on our ring, we have it documented. They come in at midnight, 1 o'clock, 3 a.m., 4:50, 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock p.m., 10 o'clock p.m., whatever time they come in. So one day I pissed off the tow truck driver after they were in my house, as the young lady over here had said. That was my house that the vendors were not picked up on because they changed their mind and decided, no, we won't take their car, okay? So I went out in the street one day and she was out there with me and made sure I was okay. Thank you for that. So she came over and they were out there going back and forth and I said, 15 minutes, dude, 15 minutes I have. So he timed it. He came around, his other dude came around, coming down the street on both sides. My dude had left. So him and I were standing in the street. He said, you can't be in the street. I said, honey, I could be in any street I want. Watch me. I don't have to get out of my street. And I said, don't you worry. I got $130 there in my house to pay for you if you want to pick me up, but you don't have to because I don't have no car. I said, so you go on about your day and have a good day. So he drove down and the goddamn person, excuse my language, came right back up the street at me. And I'm like, dude, really? As a woman, you're gonna treat me like that? Again, you need to go back and see the manners that your mama didn't teach you, okay? In regards to management, there are things at this park that need to be done. They told us we had 30 days to clean out a cabinet here in the clubhouse, but what about the lake? How many months do we have to wait? How many months do we have to wait for potholes that are dangerous for our 80, 70? Hey, I'm only 55 and I'm gonna fall in that hole. Falling in the hole in the street. How about the lights? I drive into this this complex at 3 a.m. and it's pitch black. It's dark, the lights are all off. And then all of a sudden they're on. Now they're working great and I have to not complain. But it's beautiful when you walk in.
What about the water issue?
The water issue sucks, dude, but it doesn't suck so much for me because I work all day, but my husband's gotta have extra water at the house. And we've got about 20 extra containers throughout the living room, kitchen, bathroom to compensate. And it's horrible, it's just sad that we pay the money. So we pay money every month, right? Everybody in here pays money. I pay $650 for rent for my space. Okay, so that's not including our water, our trash, our sewer, and our gas. Okay, I also have a fifth. I pay for my RV to be stored, which I can't park in front of my house to load and unload now. That's another story. So we pay for those things. We were told that that pays for our space rent, not for our amenities. So in the ads, it says beautiful heaven. We have amenities. We have a pool. Yes, we have a pool. I've been in it. It's not bad. We're supposed to have a spa. It's been broken down because they hired people who are crackheads, and that's what we were told, crackheads, to repair it, and they had to get new people. It's been down for, I want to say, 6 months, at least. Oh, okay, I'm not sure on the exact month. So that. Then they said that we don't pay for the amenities. We don't pay for those amenities? What does our rent go to? My rent pays for her payroll every month. My rent pays for the clubhouse that I have to now pay $200 to have my Zumba class here every single month and ask for the deposit back every single time. My rent doesn't pay, according to management, for having these extra things here on the park. This lovely shuffleboard that doesn't work down here and they want to put in a pickleball. Doesn't pay for anything else. No, it doesn't pay for that. It only pays for this. If someone's down at the lake, we're not supposed to ask, who are you? Do you live here? That's not allowed. We're supposed to just turn a cheek and have somebody down there who stole our picnic table. And thank God
and the chair.
Someone was down there and saw that. So my husband and another resident go down and confiscate the table. We had someone the other night saying, having a little candlelight dinner. We politely told them to leave. At the pond, candlelight dinner at the pond. They didn't live here. People come and abuse the lake. They abuse the property. People were down there having sex. Seriously, we asked them to leave, thank God. You know, but I mean, the management says you don't have a right. We've had a resident here in the park, and I don't discriminate against anybody, but it has been an unsafe issue for us for years because of a resident's guest. That we've had helicopters. The officer last night who was here knew my name because I had filed a complaint. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing that he knew my name. So this resident's been allowed to stay in this, and she's bringing unsafe environment to all of us, where guns, we've had the SWAT team, we've had helicopters, we've had robots, we've had that, and this has been going on for years.
And we actually covered some of those.
Thank you. And we were told there's nothing we could do. Well, what can you do? raise our rent, take away our water, shut off our power, which that hasn't had anything to do with them, with the power. That has to do with Southern California, Edison. But seriously, it's like, what can we do?
Because it's our area only. The power is targeted for our unincorporated area, because if you look at the Scientology right down the street, they have full power. Saboba, full power.
Quant
Steer
Ranch,
Brothers,
everybody but us,
full
Country Lake.
power. Country
Yeah,
Lake,
Quant Ranch
out.
have it, that's like the.
So that is
Well, we live with the project,
debatable. But here's another further issue is Country Lakes is involved and creates community, especially for the senior citizens. They are involved in a horseshoe league, and we have a huge horseshoe event here about once a month during the season.
And they all park
And
on
they
the
all
street.
park on the street. What is Country Lake gonna do? Tow them all away? This is ridiculous.
Your turn.
Yes. I have to watch my words because they may be ugly. I am extremely upset with the management and the whole Country Lake Corporation. These people do not care about the residents at all. I had a water leak. It started this past Saturday at 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon. Management was contacted, and the reply that was said that, well, we can't call anybody out on the weekend because that's double time and a half we'll have to pay. I said, so the water's just gonna run? You know, just run. Well, Monday we'll have somebody to come out. So in my brain, I'm saying, well, why not send somebody out now to fix it instead of waiting until Monday? Because you still gonna pay double money because you still gotta get people. But nevertheless, they came Monday, and they still didn't fix it that same day. They patched it and had to come back yesterday and redo it, and then they had to come back today and redo it, finish it up to clean it all up. That's not the first time. This is where I live in my space. This is the 5th time the water has been turned off and the leak is in that same hole. Now, 5 times. What seems to be the problem that you can't get this repaired?
Was this 5 times in what kind of time period?
It happened in 18, again in 19, and 20, then it happened in 22, and then it happened in again
2 times this year.
A couple times this year. This year, and the water is always off, anywhere from 1 to twice a month. It doesn't matter. And they say this is what I don't understand. How is it an emergency shut off when you send out a notice saying today is Monday, Thursday the water is going to be shut off for an emergency? Well, is that a planned emergency? I don't understand that. How do you do that?
So like they say in the future.
Yeah, that's what they do, And then this parking thing, that really just burns my. Now, they're saying that this is the one that really got me. We got a little nasty gram said that if you have 3 vehicles, you're gonna have to sell one of them because only 2 can be in your space, or you're gonna have to pay for that rat-infested, homeless, animal-infested place down there with that nobody guards, where the RVs are, to park your vehicle there. And that's bullcrap. I don't have but 1 vehicle, but I have family. And I do know my driveway as long as it is. I have had up to 5 cars in my driveway and none of them hit the street. So I'm waiting for this management, and I'm not afraid to say it's Maria, Miss Smoke-a-Lot, and Art, who does absolutely nothing. And she's just been thrown into this. She's, she don't know what she's getting into. They just threw her into it, Those people, since they've been here, I think it's going on maybe almost 3 years now or more. Instead of Country Lake improving, it has gone down tremendously. And I live right in front of the lake. Art had nerve to tell us on this last meeting when he came, that, the lake has improved so much, it's so pretty, and it's just all nice. And I said, okay, what lake are we talking about? Because I was lost, He said, the lake here at Country Lake. I said, well, not the one that's in the front of my house, And he goes, well, where do you live? I say, listen, everybody in Country Lake know who I am, and they know where I live. bam, I'm the only black lady right there in front of the lake. Everybody know me. You know, I said, now that's impossible. That's not this lake here. You know, and when you go in there to talk to them, you get nowhere. It's like you're talking to a brick wall. My thing is the rules that they're trying to enforce now, I've been here going on 8 years, they've never enforced them. Never. I think they're upset because we as a whole residents, we became upset and we started complaining to them, you know, and then saying things, you know, about what they're not doing. So they figure, oh, well, I'll retaliate, you know, like a little kid, tit for tat, you know. And that's not right. That's not right. And all of us pay our space rent. Space rent is due from the 1st to the 5th. Let you not pay it on time, you're gonna get a $60 late charge, then you're gonna get harassed by them. The next thing you know, they'll try to put a lien against your property, you know. And I asked, just out of curiosity one time, after I'd been here almost a year, I said, well, what am I paying taxes for on this land? I said, this is not my land. Why am I paying? Well, that's the way it goes. You have to pay. I said, so what the hell are you paying? That's all I wanted to know. Were they paying taxes or just we paying it? You know, I don't understand that. And my neighbors, is like I told them this last time with this water situation. I said, what about the people here that do not have central heat air and just have a swamp cooler? You have to have water for that. So the hottest day was 104 degrees. So what were these people, what were they gonna do? They were gonna just, and this place don't even supply, when there's no water, they don't supply a gallon. They don't throw it on your porch. They don't tell you to come and get it. The only somebody does that is Robert. They don't never say anything about no water. Then when we didn't have no electricity, Miss Smoke-a-Lot said it wasn't her problem to get a generator here. Now, I've lived a long time and I've lived in some nice places and some shitty places. I'm being honest. I've never lived in a place where you have a community like this and you have a clubhouse that you do not have an air conditioning and water supply and something when there's no electricity, no generator. I didn't understand that, and I still don't understand. How in the world did they expect for all of us residents here? And then they took the liquor, and that was Edison did that. They went out on, of all days, Thanksgiving. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, and if people didn't have a generator, I guess we were supposed to just be by candlelight, you know, because you didn't have no electricity. These people in this park, Robert took it upon himself and a few other people to get a generator for the residents so that they could have electricity. I do have a generator. My son purchased it, thank God for him. Because if not, I would have been down here too, you know. And I don't understand. There has to be something legal that we can do to management to make them understand. And like yesterday with this lady right here, me and my sister were riding, I came home, I called my friend in Texas, and I even called the police to see what I could do. I wanted to know what could we be done about this ugly, fat, rude, disrespectful tow truck driver. He's as ugly and fat and wide as the tow truck is. I mean, and I'm like, does he not realize the lady? And the thing is, your driveways are not that big. Understand me now. They're long, but they're not that wide. So if you gotta back your car out, it takes 2 to 3 minutes to get out of your car and go get your trash can and bring it down. And in that time, Mr. Tow-a-Lot swooped up the lady's car.
Just that quick?
Yeah, just that quick. And then tells her, if you want to get it back off the lot, it's $500. But I'll drop it off the car, it's $130. I thought, oh my God, if he'd have been in Texas, he'd have been dead. Because they would have killed him. They would have just killed him because people in Texas wouldn't have tolerated it. So I am upset. I love it here, and I'm not gonna move. I'm not, because I'll stay here till the ship go down. I'll retain an attorney and do whatever I have to do to get rid of those people in that office. Since those people have been here, they've turned it into a zoo here. It's Contredo and it's a ghetto. That's what it is here now. It's
a Contredo ghetto?
It's a Contredo ghetto. Honest to God, it is.
Eddie, not to interrupt her, but I'm the one who, well, many people, I went to her house to tell her about the water. It was Sunday.
Yeah.
About 2 in the afternoon. The park told her they can't get a plumber out on a Sunday, so it'll be tomorrow. The funny thing is, they use 24-hour express plumbing. I know the guy that works there. The guys love to come on Sunday because they make the bucks. And that's who they use. Now that's ironic number one, I'll call it. Ironic number two is they parked in the streets for 2 days. Now here's my beef with this. If we're illegally parked, tow us. Contractors should be exempt because we fix our property, we mow our properties, we have roofs done and everything. That's where the park needs to back off and let contractors park there. That is just BS. But yeah, 24-hour express plumbing, but they couldn't get them on a Sunday.
Yeah.
That's the lies that we get
That's
to.
what I got. That's what I got. I called, the neighbor behind me called. It actually, the leak happened on Saturday. And when I got that reply, and it wasn't human. It wasn't human. At first, it was an answer machine. So I did it again. And then finally, she called back and says, well, you do know if we get a plumber out today, it's time and a half or double time on the weekends.
Well, that's their responsibility,
So
not yours.
We'll just have to wait till Monday. And I'm thinking, well, what sense do that make? I got a waterfall that I didn't ask for in my yard, and it's just running, and just running all on down the road and everywhere, and I'm thinking, okay, this is really stupid. So now I'm sure what they're gonna try to do, they're gonna try to figure out a way, since they're doing tit for tat, to try to charge us for the water, for us not having water, for the water leak, to pay for it. So I don't understand. I laid in bed at night. Security is obsolete. We can't get no security here, period. No, we were told to get security here, we had to pay an extra $2 to $10. Huh?
There's towing.
Yeah, that's towing. That's towing. But they said we have
We
to
got
pay
Castellano Towing and Security, right?
and I'm like, okay, so we can't get that, but it's okay for the homeless people. They're so good now. They used to pull the fence down. Now it's all the way down. They got a chair there. They just step over it and come over here and take whatever they want, And they don't care what they steal. They've stole bowls out of my yard, water hose, chairs, they don't care. And them, they can't do nothing about it. Nothing they can do about it. That's my only beef. All I would like is there some way we can sue them and get them out of here. See if I win the lottery, they don't have to worry. Because I'm buying the whole Country Lake and they fired. They're out. So I'm done. I don't know no more else to say. It's sad. And the majority of us here are females. There are some males, but we're probably taking care of our husbands and our dads and whatever. And Miss Smoke a Lot and Art don't do nothing. And Goofball Jess, they just throw them there and they just do what they want to do and treat us any kind of way they want. That's why I call it Contredo Ghetto.
Country Lake Ghetto, right?
That's what it is.
What's your opinion?
Well, Eddie, here's the thing. So last year, right about this time, I became one of the Country Lake representatives along with a few other people. Our desire going into this was to bridge the gap between management and the residents and be the voice of the residents. Unfortunately, with the changes that we've had, Sherry, when she was here, she was amazing. I could go in and talk to her about something. The next day it was taken care of. As we have it standing right now, I don't feel comfortable going in and even talking to anybody because I know I'm not going to be heard. I have gone in when this all started with the towing. I went in and I talked to Art. Prior to that, I talked to Jessica and Marie, and I had suggested, I said, here's the thing, with vendors coming in, you have your landscapers, air conditioning, whatever, any vendor coming in, anytime when I've gone in to do a project on at a location, mobile home park or whatever, because I used to do that kind of stuff, I would go in and check in with the office. They would give me a tag, stick it in my window, and I told them that's what we've done. Why can't we do that here? So I got a bunch of pushback from Jessica and Marie. I came in at one point when they attempted to tow my vehicle. I came home after having our deck redone and painted. Painter asked me to take a look. I jumped out of my car, not thinking, yes, I did not have my flashers going. I jumped out of my car, I looked, I literally walked from the street to the back and then up on my deck and then seen the tow truck. He was going past, he backed up, came down my street and started to back up to my vehicle. I ran down and I wagged my finger telling him, no, you're not getting this one, buddy. So I jumped in the vehicle, turned it on, and I went immediately up to talk to Art, who's the regional manager for Country Lake. Art's response was very simple. It's all or nothing. My response is, no, you're an idiot, because it doesn't have to be that way. The way these people are coming in here, they're acting like they are coming in and doing an episode for a new repo show, okay, so on TLC. So, I mean, I literally had these guys, and I have it on my ring, that they came by my house 6 times in 20 minutes, and they would come by and they would wave at our workers, and they would sit there and they would, you know, rub their fingers indicating, give me your money, okay? This is unacceptable. I spoke to management, and of course they're going to, you know, sugarcoat it and say, oh, we're gonna fix it, no, we'll talk to them, no problem, no problem. It's still going on. I witnessed it yesterday when my wife stepped up and asked me to take her home to deal with another situation that we had in the park, which has already been covered. You know, as a community representative, our desire has been to help the community and to bridge that gap. But the more we try to bridge, the further management is pushing it away. So it's very difficult to work under those circumstances. It just seems that they're hyper-focused on things that they don't need to be so focused on, and that they could work through, as opposed to dealing with other problems. I spoke with Art. We had a community meeting, as Jim had mentioned earlier. We had a community meeting, which we were told it was going to be done quarterly. So we had this community meeting. Art was there, Maria was there, and John, who was up in the office at the time, were there. And Art went through this whole list, and I have the whole list of 15, 16 items, and said, you know, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and the other two, you know, nothing happened. At one point, I was down at the lake with my grandson fishing, and Art came up, he was talking to me, and I asked him, I said, well, you know, the community, they're asking me about what's going on with the reeds and everything out here at the lake. You guys said you promised that you were going to take care of this. And the bottom line was that, come to find out, Art received an invoice, or not an invoice, but an estimate for $16,000. And he said that was too much, and he literally, in front of somebody, threw it in the trash. Said that was too much. But yet he says, well, you know, the problem with refilling the lake is the reeds. There's so many reeds that's sucking up all the water. Okay, so why throw this away? Now, with Sherry, when Sherry was here, as I said, she always took care of things immediately. I had brought up a situation with the RV park. We have our RV, our trailer in there. And I pointed out to Marie that, you know, the company is taking in over $14,000 a year based on the RV lot itself. Marie's attitude, and the reason I brought this up was because there were a lot of weeds, there were tumbleweeds and everything. There was no way that I could go in and grab my trailer and bring it out to take it out for the weekend. So I brought it up to Marie. A week and a half later, she says, oh, by the way, this was on a Thursday. She says, by the way, it'll be taken care of Monday. She goes in to deal with a vendor who has not been paid, as I understand, for 60 days at this point. He still has not been paid for the work that he's done in here. So she goes in to deal with that. I talked to Sherry, who happened to be standing there. I explained the situation to her. The very next day, things were taken care of. So personally, the 3 that are in the office right now, they're doing nothing. They're just hindering the progression of Country Lake itself. Sherry actually would take care of things. But with all that being said, everything that's happening at this point, I've tried many times to talk to management in regards to the towing situation and how they can get around, being so aggressive and just downright dirty about it. And no one wants to listen. They just want to have the attitude of, well, it's all or nothing. Well, you know what? It's not all or nothing. They need to look up, the laws in the state, and they will realize that they have been wrong, and they may end up with a bunch of lawsuits as a result.
I'm trying, Robert, I'm trying.
I know you are.
I have an attorney, he's looking into everything. I'm trying.
I know you are, Brenda.
Here's the thing, we keep holding them accountable for things. We give them 30 days this time, we give them 30 days that time, we give them 30 days this time, and they have done absolutely nothing but started harassing people with a tow truck. You can't even get out your car I saw a guy walking his mom into the house, right? And he had his car on the street. I told my sister, I said, I need to stop right now and tell him, dude, you better move your car because you ain't gonna have no car because the tow truck posted up somewhere waiting. And so they're not gonna do anything. I don't care how many chances we give them.
Okay, so
we
then
gotta go
we as a
legal.
community
We got
have
to go
do
legal.
it.
We gotta
Take
go
Country
legal.
Lake back. Do not
We
allow
got it.
them to
We got
take
it.
away our community of good, solid, Christian,
We have to.
sound people who want to live here, who pay their rent on time, who care about each other. We want to live here. We have to take our community back.
do.
And I'm sorry for Boa Vita or whatever you are. You don't own us. We own you.
Those people.
All right, I'm all done. I'm all done.
Anybody else?
All I'm
All set?
saying is I hope this does something and makes something happen, because we can't continue every month like this. It's just getting worse and worse. And they don't have a problem increasing our space rent, not at all. They don't have a problem. No, they don't. And when you ask them something that should come with the space rent, you get, well, that's not included. Well, that's not included. Well, then, what is included? Do I have to, every night, do I have to pack my house and put it in my pocket and go drive down the street? What's included? I don't understand. These people here, the only thing that they recognize is Ben Franklin, Hamilton, Grant, and George Washington. That's all they recognize. That's it.
Add that to it. So recently there was a situation with one of the residents. When my wife and I moved in here in February 2021?
January 2021.
January. I stand corrected, and I always will be more than happy to admit that. But when we moved in here, we loved the community, and we quickly got to know our neighbors. We ended up getting a golf cart. That may have been the downfall, because at that point I was going around the lake and I was finding people that were here that did not belong here. Now, there is a huge sign that says, the lake is for residential use only. A resident needs to be with their guest, 2 guests per resident to fish. So I started talking to people and just asked the simple question, hey, how you doing? Catch anything? Oh, do you live here? So as it progressed, I found a lot of people that did not belong here. And my thing is that if somebody is coming in here to fish today and they are looking around and they're seeing the easy pickings around here, they may come in tomorrow to rob or steal or do whatever. So I continued on with my process. I talked to management. Sherry was here at the time. She totally was on board. She sanctioned everything that I was doing. Another couple of residents were joining me with this, basically kind of being a lake patrol. So at one point, very recently, within the last month, we had one of the residents that was joining in with me talk to somebody who was down at the lake, and they were misbehaving. They had 6 or 7 people down there. The resident that actually is on the property or owns the property was not here. So it was questioned, it was brought up, ended up going up to management because they called me and said, what do I do? I said, I'm not on the property, take it to management. They went up to management. This other individual involved followed up there, and an argument ensued at that point. At which point, the manager at that time, or assistant manager, Jessica, had made a statement and said, well, you guys don't have any right to ask anybody who is on, the lake property fishing if they belong here, or you have no rights to ask any questions. I'm sorry, I do, because we pay for the amenities that we use. The resident that was talking to management about this brought it up and said, no, we actually do. Manager Jessica had stated, no, you have no right, you don't pay for the amenities. You don't pay for the pool, you don't pay for the lake, you don't pay for the clubhouses, nothing. So this resident in question had made a statement and said, well, wait a minute. So we pay, she said, you only pay your space rent, that's all you're paying for. So he says, well, wait, hold on. We're paying our space rent. So when we pay that, who do we pay? She says, you pay corporate. He says, okay, so, and he also brought up the fact that not only do we pay for all the amenities, but we also pay for the salary of every individual who works here. And she said, no, she kept arguing with him, no, you don't, in front of this new resident. And so he turns around and he says, no, we pay our space rent, goes to corporate. She agreed. He says, now, when corporate pays out you guys and your salary, where does that money come from? She says, well, it comes from corporate. And he says, okay, and where do you think corporate is getting their money from? So this is the mentality that we're dealing with in here. We're dealing with people who just don't understand and don't have the compassion and desire to really work for or with our community. And it's very frustrating to me, but we need to get some changes. We need to push this forward. So that's all I have to say. Yep.
You said we don't pay for the amenities, right? Well, they told me the reason why my space rent is the price that is because I am on the curve there and I have lakefront property. That's why I pay extra. Okay.
Well, sound like you're paying for it to me.
Right. That's what they told me. So I'm like, if that's the case, then give me a boat. Let me live on that lake. You know?
We'll get you a paddleboard. You can be out there paddleboarding every morning, babe. No problem. We got
Water goes off sometimes once a week, 1 or 2 days. Constant, never stops.
And how long does the water stay?
All day.
All day long. Do you get compensated or
No.
anything? Do you get any aid with the water?
No, nothing.
Okay, is there anything else that you
Sometimes
have
they
an
don't
issue?
even notify us. They just turn it off.
Okay. Do you have any issues with the parking here as well too?
Parking,
About being towed?
we haven't been towed, no.
Okay.
But it's not right what they're doing.
Now, how long have you lived out here at Country Lake Mobile Home Park?
22.
22 years. And out of the 22 years, how many times have you been going without water?
Gosh, in the last few years, constant.
And how does that make you feel living here as a senior citizen?
Not happy.
Is this the heavenly place to live because of all this?
No.
All right.